Hey guys, this is Bob Hickman. It is so good to be back with you. Well, I want to say thank you to all of you who came out for messages from the spirit world. We certainly had a great time with that, and we're going to have another messages this week, so you just keep it here. Anyways, tonight I wanted just to spend some time with you guys. I'm out kind of doing another UFO watch. I think that to learn to understand UFOs, you have to spend time working at it. It's like any other skill. So I make it a regular practice to come out and monitor the skies and study the plane patterns. So I know, kind of what's a plane and what's something out of the normal. Anyways, I'm just so glad you guys are here. And we're going to today look at some of you have asked me, you've said, "Psyche Bob, I'm scared of the aliens. All I see are the little gray aliens with the big eyes. I don't know if I'm like them or hate them." Well, really, we shouldn't discriminate based on somebody's color or appearance. It's true that when we talk about alien beings, yes, they are going to perhaps look very different from us. But you see, that difference doesn't have to necessarily be scary. I think in time we're going to get used to seeing the aliens as they come out more. And you see, that knowledge of acceptance will help them become closer to us. As they understand that the fear is lessening on the earth, they'll be more open to working with us. Tonight I want to talk about a certain class of aliens that I don't think we've really talked about. Everybody, when we talk about the aliens, everybody always thinks about, as I said earlier, the grays. But there's also another class of alien, which are known as the Pleiadians or the Pleiadians. It's believed that the Pleiadians or the Pleiadians are the originators of humanity. Those who have had encounters with them say they look human. They resemble very much the Nordic races. They tend to be tall, fair-skinned. Some of them have blonde hair, some have brown hair. They tend to have blue eyes predominantly, but I have heard of some Pleiadians that have brown eyes and hazel and green eyes. So, but if you want to know what they look like, think about people from the Nordic countries, the Norwegians, the Scandinavian population. This is what the Pleiadians resemble. Some of you are going to say, "Psyche Bob, where do the Pleiadians come from?" Well, that's a good question. They come from the Pleiades star system. The Pleiades star system is commonly known as the Seven Sisters. I'll put a picture of that up here for you. The Seven Sisters are some 240 million light years away. But don't let that scare you, because the Pleiadians have learned to transcend distance at a great speed. The Pleiadians they're known as a very benevolent race. They are able to do interstellar travel. They have technology which is beyond anything we could imagine. The Pleiadians also have learned to master interdimensional travel. People who have had encounters with the Pleiadians said that they have explained to humanity that they are here to observe us and to help us grow as a people all over the earth. They want to help the earth evolve. The Pleiadians believe that humanity has struggled with war and violence for far too many years, and they want to help people learn a spiritual value, that the power of love changes the universe. As I'm out walking tonight, I tell you, it's such a beautiful night. The air is just tropical. The sky is not as clear as I'd like it to be, but that's okay. We can still watch. As we were talking about the Pleiadians, one of the things also that's very interesting is that the Pleiadians are one of the most gentle and kind alien races. Many people who have seen them said that they're very kind and they approach them with a great concern that they not be frightened. One of the most famous contactees of the Pleiadians or the Pleiadians was a person known as Billy Meyer. And Billy Meyer was a guy who lived in Switzerland, and he was literally out walking one day, and he saw a ship, literally a saucer, a Pleiadian saucer. And when he saw the saucer, he saw, I believe it was a lady that came out of the saucer, and she said that she was from the Pleiades, and her name was Semjasa. And Semjasa explained to him that the Pleiadians had been visiting the Earth for hundreds of years, and they're very interested in monitoring humanity's evolution. So the Pleiadians are a very gentle race of people. They don't hurt anybody. They promote peace and unity, not violence. I think they're wonderful. I'm a big fan of this group of aliens. So when we talk about UFOs and aliens, know that there are hundreds of different races and peoples from other worlds visiting the Earth. So interestingly, the Pleiadians are said to be very telepathic. They are able to speak directly to the mind. And many people have been able to channel the Pleiadians. And I think that's fascinating. I one time had an experience where I was in a trance and an alien came through me and spoke to a client. She said she believed it was a Pleiadian because when she was a child, she said she met the Pleiadians. I didn't know that, but it was very interesting because the entity that came through me felt very powerful yet gentle. So I guess maybe I channeled the Pleiadians. Maybe I channeled the Pleiadians. I don't know, but it's certainly an interesting concept. So maybe you'd like to, in your meditations, try to connect to the Pleiadians. They seem to be, from what I've read and many accounts I've studied, have been a very gentle race, very kind and peaceful. They may help us, hopefully, open our spiritual values. That's what they're claiming that they want to do. I think that's a wonderful idea. So maybe they'll help us. Well, I'm scanning the skies tonight, but I'm not having a lot of luck. It's kind of cloudy out here, as you can see. But that's okay. Even when it's not perfect weather, it's still good to go out and try to watch. I think one of the things that's wonderful to do while you're doing your UFO watches is meditate. Open your heart chakra. Here in the middle of the chest, we have an energy center. It's called a heart chakra. Many people see it as a green ball of light. Some people see it as a pink ball of light. But that energy center is the energy center of receptivity. It is through the heart that we connect through love. And as I've understood it, the Pleiadians really are drawn to people whose heart chakras are open. So as you visualize the center of your chest, see a glowing ball of light opening and sending rays out into the universe. And if you do that, you'll be more open to receiving a connection. And who knows, the Pleiadians could be drawn to you for that very reason. I've heard that they are drawn to people who are more spiritually open. Interestingly, I've also heard that the Pleiadians are connected through the seventh plane. And this, there are many dimensions. So the seventh dimension, which actually is also a plane. Dimensions are planes, I suppose. which tells me that they operate from a very high frequency. And I believe in the seventh dimension, love is the predominant energy. So I think that we want to deal with this class of aliens. Those who come from such a high place, I think, could only benefit the Earth and benefit humanity. So, I'm a big fan of the Pleiadians. I've never got to meet one. Well, maybe I channel one, as I said earlier, but I'm not really sure. I just know something came through me. But I can tell you, I would love to have an encounter with the Pleiadians. So for those of you who are a little nervous and you're saying, well, Bob, I don't know, I'm a little scared. Well, maybe you just want to try to connect with the Pleiadians so you can have a taste of spiritual connection and you don't have to be overwhelmed. I've actually never heard of the Pleiadians abducting people. I don't think they really do abduction. It seems like in all their times of showing up on Earth, it's more been just for visitation. They come, they talk, they visit with people. I've not heard of anybody being forcibly taken against their will. In fact, the humans who have reported to have been on the Pleiadian spaceships say that they're welcomed aboard and treated wonderfully, and it's a wonderful experience. I like that. I think that sounds good. So we're going to keep watching the skies. Well, there's an airplane up there. It's popping through the clouds a little bit, but it's on the normal flight path, and I can hear its engines. So I guess that's not going to be a UFO tonight. So as you get to know the flight patterns where you live, you'll quickly start to discern what's normal and what's not. As you go out regularly, you'll really start to notice the flight patterns in your area, and you'll notice what the lights look like. It's amazing how many people never really stop and pay attention to the skies. Have you ever seen some of the old photographs? They show people standing out, at a picnic, and there's a giant UFO in the background. It's like in plain sight, yet nobody ever sees it, Sometimes I think some of the UFOs have cloaking devices. I have heard, as I talked about in my video on biomorphic UFOs, they can change shape, and some do have what is commonly known as cloaking devices. But interestingly, with the Pleiadian ships, from what I've heard, is that they're very visible. They show themselves openly, and they always seem to approach people with a very kind and gentle nature. So they don't really need to hide, and they're not going to abduct you. Anyways, I'm going to keep watching. One of the things that the Pleiadians often talk about is the acquisition of knowledge. They want humanity to evolve its wisdom. I happen to be here right now outside of the local public library. I think it's a majestic sight. It kind of looks like a giant UFO, doesn't it, up here? As you can see, here it is behind me. I always like libraries because libraries, I think, are temples of learning. That's what I like to call them, temples of learning. I know a lot of people tell me today, I don't read books, Bob. I just look at everything on the internet. Well, that's okay. You can look at the internet. Sometimes there's ancient wisdom within books. And if you seek out some of these old books, you'll find out mysteries and things that you would never have discovered. So never discard your local public library. When I first started doing UFO research years ago, it was through the public library that I first got my information. We didn't have the internet back 25 years ago. And now, you see, we have libraries and we have the internet. And so really our knowledge base keeps expanding. So if you want to know the Pleiadians, study, gain wisdom. That'll draw them to you. Guys, I am so glad that you came out for my UFO walk tonight. Unfortunately, we didn't see anything, but that's okay. I enjoyed the experience, and you know, it's about the experience, you know. Walk, learn, study, be open, meditate, pray. As you raise your vibration, things in your life will start to change. You'll have greater joy, greater happiness. You'll be open to learning. And who knows, you might even draw a UFO to you. I'm so glad you're here at Spirit Channel. Listen, keep it here. On Thursday, we got messages from the spirit world coming. You don't want to miss that. And this is Bob Hickman. Thanks for being here. Blessings to you all.